Hi there, it's Madrika de Maria and welcome back to the channel, the place that helps you create success the feminine way. Feel free to go hit that subscribe button right now if you haven't done so already. And today we're going to be talking about how to balance being a mum and owning a successful business. I am sharing the last 26 years of my journey to success, my tools, my strategies. Take what you like, leave the rest. At the end of the day, remember this is your unique journey. So let's go into it, shall we? Being a mother is one of the most difficult things I have ever done in my life. And the reason for that is I'd always run businesses. You can control a business. You can control, you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. With children, especially when they're babies, you can't control them. You don't know what the crying's for. What is that? Why are they crying? Why are you crying? Tell me, someone help me. It's a really tough time. And, it was for me anyway, but I did have my businesses before that. So I had to really come up with a way to be as organized as possible. One of the biggest challenges I had was mummy guilt. What was mummy bloody guilt? I think it's something that's put into our minds somewhere in our DNA that we have to feel guilty. And I felt really guilty for leaving my kids at home with a nanny or going to nursery. Was I spending enough time with them while I was running my businesses? And I remember having a conversation with a very close friend at the time who was a mummy and had a career. And she said to me, she had the same thing. The thing that helped her the most was to say, what role model am I going to be to my daughter? And she pretty much nailed it. It hit home straight away. And I actually went, what kind of role model do I want to be to my children? And it wasn't about the success necessarily, but it was about being true to myself, being who I wanted to be. And I've always wanted success. It's something that was just built into me, in my soul. Every time I didn't do something, my soul would go, knock, 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 knock. Do you remember you're here to do good in the world? You're here to spread the love. You're here to be the best version of you. You're here to leave a legacy. You're here to leave something. So my soul kept knocking on the door. And I think for me, that role model bit really hit home. And as I say, it wasn't about the success. My kids can have whatever success they want. What I want is them to be the best versions of themselves. And the way kids do that is by seeing what you do, not by you telling them what to do. So massive distinction there, something we forget. And we often parent the way we were parented. So it's default, it's what you saw, and that's how you start parenting. I often catch myself still parenting the way my parents parented me. And some of that was really positive, and there were some parts that weren't so much. So it's important to know those things. So how do I balance everything? The first thing I do is I deal with my emotions. Well, my emotions are, it's okay to have both. If you have that belief system, if you have that as your identity, it just becomes so much easier because then you're not constantly having this conflict in your mind. So number one is making sure you find a way that it's okay to do both and that you can. It will be hard. God, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be hard. But with me giving you some tips and techniques where I've had to go through it, I'm hoping that it will absolutely give you some direction and some guidance on how you can do it simpler and faster than I had to, because I had to just learn along the way and educate myself along the way, etc. So let's start with what are my top tips, my top areas, my top chunks. I could talk about this for days and days and have systems in place that took me years and years to create. So I'm going to share the sort of top ones, see if they resonate with you. You can always put some comments in below to see if there's anything else I can help you with or do any videos on to help you out with that. One is, the main important one is getting organized. So actually my top one was coming to terms that you can do both and shift your mindset. You might need some help with that. You might just one day wake up and decide that you just want to be a role model to your kids. These are not in any order, they're just general. Is organize yourself. The more organized you are, the more you feel in control. And when you feel in control, it really, really helps you be true to your feelings, because I'm not saying control everything around you, I'm just saying you need to feel in control with your actions, the things that you need to do, the areas you need to focus on. So organize yourself by using systems and strategies to help you do that. So one of the biggest things I do is I run my home like my business. Everything has a system. It has if I have staff, they all have job descriptions. They have, I go through a training process with them. So there's absolute clarity on what I want done in my way. Now, will I allow them to be a bit creative? Of course, but I just want them to get the absolute basics right. I also will go and plan my week. I'll plan my days. I have checklists. So when I'm saying plan your week, what things do you have to do on a weekly basis? A lot of people I know go shopping every day or every other day for food. Why would you do that? It's just a complete waste of time, unless you love doing it and you enjoy it. I have deliveries to my home because I don't want to waste time going to a supermarket. I have it delivered twice a week. Now I've got systems in place that you necessarily don't have to. Back in the day when I didn't have PAs and nannies and staff, I used to do all my delivery slots for the whole month, because that's all they'd allow me to, put a couple of bits of shopping in there so I know I've secured my slots. The day before, I would do my shopping. I have a piece of paper on my fridge. Anytime anything runs out, I put that in there. Within my shopping, I have favorites, so that I put all my favorite things in there so it can be very, very easily done. Today, my PA does my shopping for me. She puts all the things in, has it all delivered, has it all sorted out for me, because I've trained her how to do that. So these systems that you can put in place that really help you save time, which creates more time for you to work on your business. So that's a example of shopping. Cleaning. How often do you have to do cleaning? Can you get somebody in to do that? Can you earn more money than the cleaner that you pay to come in and do that for you, so that you can create more time, not to sit down and watch television or be socializing, but to actually work on your business? That's something I do a lot. I have treatments done regularly, but everyone comes to my house. So I get my nails done and I'm listening to something that I'm learning. I'm listen to a podcast or a home study course, because my hands are being used. I will often make phone calls when I'm having my nails done. I will be, at the same time, sometimes I'll be having my hair done and I'll be on my laptop. And I will have pamper days, so I'm not saying everything has to be do, but those are my things that I do regularly. I have my hair done once a week, I'll have my nails done every three weeks, etc. So that's what the things that I do regularly. I will go to salons and have spa days and things like that for my nurturing time, but the day by day is how can I jam in as much time as I can to do the things that I need to do, because then I get quality time with my children. It's because I'm doing the things that I'm doing in that way. I have checklists all the time, shopping lists. I have packing lists. If I'm going on holiday, I have a spreadsheet of all the things on there that we just print off every time we travel. We then tick it off. I've come to a point now, as I said, this is something I would do normally. I would just print it off and tick it off. I have it, the children have it, Marcus has it. So everyone in the family's got a list each. Now I'm fortunate enough to be able to employ staff. So literally my bags will be packed with a little bit of help by me on what I want to wear, but it's packed by my PA and my housekeeper, which is amazing because I've just delegated it. But back in the day I'd do it myself, but so much easier to just print off that checklist. Daily routines, for example, where we've been in a lockdown, which is when I'm making this video now, is that in the lockdown I've had to do a lot of things because I've not had any of my staff. So I had to relax my rules. I love a tidy, flowing house. It's very zen, I love that everything's put away. It just helps me not clutter my mind. But in the lockdown, I was homeschooling with a bit of help from my nanny online, cooking, cleaning, and running my business. Our business is an events business. We couldn't do events, so we had a lot of things that we had to put in place for it. But I relaxed my rules. The food I was cooking was very simple. Yes, it was nutritious, but it was very simple. I froze things so that I could defrost things and make it easier for me. But one of the things that I really relaxed was cleaning up after every meal. I literally didn't clean up after breakfast. I didn't clean up after lunch. I made dinner, and while I was cooking dinner, I was cleaning up the mess from the day. Or after we'd eaten dinner, I'd be cleaning up the whole day's stuff together. And it just allowed me to focus and not spend so much time away from my desk. So there's things that you can do that you are more effective, but you need to relax your rules. That's sometimes the biggest challenge women have, is about relaxing those rules. And I had to learn through the process doing that as well. I was brought up in a strict Indian family where you cooked everything from fresh. Housework was the most important thing. That was a woman's job. That's what we had to do. And I had to relax my rules because they didn't serve me at the time. I couldn't do everything I could in that time frame. Now, as I say, I'm fortunate to have help, so I can have those standards back again. But again, it's not as important. Now, a lot of people have rules, so this would be an action point for you guys, is to see what your rules could be, because I find this with people I coach quite regularly, is we have these rules that, oh no, I don't do that, oh god no, I couldn't leave the pans till the next day, oh my god, I have to do a washing load every day, oh no, I can't get a takeaway on a Friday night, it has to be home cooked, oh I can't freeze food. So what are your rules that are not actually probably your rules? So I'd encourage you to write down things that you do and you'll have a niggle. Sometimes you like resent those things and you go, oh, I have to do this. When you feel that, really check in, write it down and go, actually, does it really matter? Is it really that important for me to do that right now? As long as it gets done at some point, is it that important? Where did I get that from? I remember having a conversation with somebody about 15 years ago about getting a cleaner. Now, they had the money to have a cleaner, and she was going, oh, I'm so stressed, I've started working, I've got 2 kids, I've started a new business with my husband, and I'm really struggling to get all the housework done. She's so unhappy. And I said, why don't you get a cleaner? Oh, I couldn't do that. I said, why not? She said, oh God, no, I was brought up in this family that you do not have cleaners, you do it all yourself. And I went, but it's not serving you right now and you can afford it. Oh, no, I cannot do that. My mum would go mad. I'm like, well, your mum doesn't need to know. She's not in your house, is she? Oh, no, I can't do that. So it was so in her belief system that she couldn't have a cleaner. So these are things I do. I look to delegate a lot. Of course, when you're delegating, it costs money. But you can do some creative things, which I did in the early days when we couldn't afford anything. I would get somebody to live in the house, and they would do the housework for me. It was almost like having an au pair, but we didn't have children. I would do swaps with people. I would say, right, I had a beauty business back in the day, and I would sort of do swaps with people, like for fitness. So I'd kind of say, okay, if you do a personal training session for me, one of my therapists will give you a massage. That's the way you can sometimes delegate things as well. You can swap services. And chunking your work, so doing the washing at the same time, doing your shopping at the same time, planning to do your housework on a weekend, and make things fun, because when you're having fun, and it just feels different, it just doesn't feel like a chore. So I used to do housework with music on, because it just made me feel better. So I'd dance along, and do the housework at the same time. And I cook with music on all the time. I love it, because it just makes me feel joyful. So look to find ways to put systems and strategies, delegate anything that you can. So this is how I balance being a mum and running a successful business. I hope this has helped you today, and you've got some tips and tricks there, some things that you can take away with. Remember, success is not a spectator sport, so make sure you take some action. Please do make comments in the comment box if the actions that you're taking, what you got from this session. Hit subscribe to stay tuned, and the like button if you've liked this video. Until I see you again, remember, magic happens when you're truly yourself.